Hey darling, Kay here. Have you noticed people acting weird around you lately? Maybe friendships feeling kind of off. Some connections are no longer feeling the same. People quietly distancing themselves from you. Lovers are acting out and walking away. Or maybe some opportunities are fading out. And even conversations you once cared about are dying and you're no longer interested. Well, you're definitely not imagining things. Something is happening. And today we're spilling the tea on what's really going on. Spirit is revealing the energies behind it all. I got good news and bad news. Bad news, some people are not going to make it into your next chapter. But the good news is it's happening for you, my love. And you don't even have to remove them.
Hello, hello, welcome or welcome back. This is King Gaia, and today we are diving into our collective energy forecast, sharing the significant vibrations and energetic influences impacting our collective. If you're new to my channel, welcome, Boo. I am so grateful for the opportunity to be of service to you. All messages on my table are timeless and in divine timing, showing up in your life when you need them the most. Please remember that we are all navigating our very own journey within on different schedules and under unique circumstances. So only take what resonates, okay? So you heard it, you read the title. Yeah, there is something in the water. And it's happening for you, okay? Not to you, but for you. So, congratulations. It is not necessarily rejection or redirection, it's 100% divine intervention, okay? The category is good riddance. And spirit is dropping instructions, okay? Your only assignment is simple: don't stop was already leaving. Okay, so let's dive in. So this reading is like a summer beacon, right? Kind of like illuminating everything that's going on between the months of June, July, and August. Um, and there is a very intense energy of natural elimination rather than a forced release, and I believe it's like the gift of retrograde. We just ended a Mercury retrograde, and this is the gift. We don't have to fight, we don't have to expose or convince or chase for closure. People, habits, distractions, limiting beliefs, expired commitments, and misaligned opportunities are removing themselves from your path, and the universe is cleaning house pretty much, right? Without requiring you to be the janitor. So do not interfere, do not interrupt, do not rescue. Just sit your ass down, right? That's the that's the that's the assignment. That's the homework. Okay, so let's open some space here. On the table, of course, Enchantress, my pretty Reiki candle, my tea light, and this is the Palo Santo essence, okay? Because there's a lot of purging going on, and we gotta honor that. Um, there's also a lot of mental overload, right? We navigated mental overload. There was the inner critic going crazy, social media, the echo chambers, of course. That noise is very intense. Having too many ideas, too many tabs open in our head, too many unnecessary conversations, right? Too many to do lists, too much planning, too much consumption instead of creation. So, it is only natural that the Queen of Swords shows up because she's all about discernment and truth and making difficult decisions. Um, she has already cut away what no longer serves her, right? So she is not going to make choices from emotion. She makes the decisions from wisdom, right? And that connects with this monthly theme 100%. Um, The universe is simplifying your life. The people leaving, the opportunities that are fading, the ideas that you are no longer excited about, they're just making room for deeper commitment. Um, and you are not meant to address that. You're not meant to address the exodus, right? What you need to understand is that there are forces working behind the scenes that are working for you, right? um, Number 33 is mastery, right? So this is all about your evolution, your growth, and how your very own energy is already doing the work for you. You are the queen of swords, right? Even if you're not aware of your sharp sword, you are the queen of swords. You did this, right? Why? Because your soul understands that you are meant to become more devoted to what already matters, to what's here, to what's meant to stay. So distractions need to be gone, and they will be. It's not the time to be distracted, to be entangled or scattered or diluted. You can no longer afford physical, mental, emotional, or financial toxicity in your life. So the universe is recalibrating, it's refining, it's simplifying your surrounding. Okay, we have entered a period of intentional focus and inspire action. The collective vibration for the chosen ones, meaning the ones that did the inner work, the ones that are doing, you know, um, their homework, the ones who understand the assignment, right? The energy right now feels like a purge. It's kind of like a laxative, flushing the shit out, excuse the metaphor, but it is quite accurate, right? And I am channeling during summertime. So it is mid July right now, almost towards the end. And it's right after the retrograde. And to be honest, this summer energy isn't just about adding sunshine to your life, it's about removing um, everything that's blocking your light. Understand there's no more darkness surrounding your path at this point of your life. And I want you to understand um, that like, I get it. I understand that not everyone is going to be on the same boat with this one, but you need to understand that it's necessary. Not everybody is a fan of connections exiting, right? Um, but this is not for you to cry about the failure of someone leaving, but it's about celebrating the success of manifesting the ones that are arriving after these fuckers leave. Okay? Period. Right? They can't and will not land if these low vibrational creators are lingering. So we need to let them go. And in this case, the universe is asking that you please do not interrupt or sabotage their exit and just let them go, because the energy that you're cultivating is your 10 of cups. Okay, why is this happening? Your boundaries have already become a filter. Finally, about time. Even if you're not aware of it, your authenticity is flushing and revoking everything and everyone that is unaligned. So the more that you attune yourself to self-love, to authenticity, to gratitude, the more the universe will deliver, and the easier it will become to let these things go, right? These people go. And as a collective, we are all here doing this inner work and healing and shifting and evolving. And you need to understand and be open about the fact that not everyone can hang, right? Not everyone can handle your light as you evolve. And not everyone is meant to benefit from your growth. Not everyone is supposed to participate in this new version of you. This that's emerging, right? That's why they're in the past, right? Um, and the best part of this purge is that they will do it for you. The universe is going to facilitate their exit. It's going to feel for them like a download or a whisper or a spark of clarity, and they will follow through. You know why? Because you have a contract, and this energy, these people, these situations are no longer part of it. Your contract, your divine purpose, your soul purpose involves growth and a very specific mission. right? Of bringing your gift and your talents forward. And eliminating this fuckery is not a sacrifice. You actually sign up for this, you know, and your devotion and your dedication will bring about, a life of fulfillment, financial blessings, emotional fulfillment, aligned connections, social impact. And these rewards, this dharma, these blessings will not land, will not flow properly if you have unworthy, undeserving energies or people sticking around. They are not meant to enjoy the fruits of your labor. And your guides are not playing. Your spiritual team, your angels and your protectors, they don't have time for this when it comes to keeping you in alignment with the fulfillment of this contract, because it's due. It's right now. Okay. And you know you will have clarity and better understanding of what's happening, right? There's an illusion. um there's an illusion of growth, right? We believe that when we are growing and healing and evolving, that we no longer attract low vibrational people. But unfortunately, we do. We still do. We attract our high vibe tribe, right? But we also attract lame people who want to ride along and siphon from what we got going on. Whether it's energy or love, your body, your money, your resources, or the good look that surrounds you, these people can feel it, they can smell it, and they want it. They envy it, and some of these fuckers even think that they're entitled to it. The fucking nerve, right? And you need to stop tripping because you know who they are. They walk around with their big ass red flags. Their mask and their facade becomes unstable, at times for us to notice. So sometimes you could see glimpses into their lies and their acts and their manipulation and their shortcomings. You see the shit show and the fuckery, but a part of you gives them the benefit of the doubt, gives them the chance. But not your spirit guides. Your spirit guides are done with that. They're like, no, no more. We ain't doing this. Okay. And it's going to be a mass exodus. And Spirit today is sharing unique identifiers for us to keep an eye on, right? So when you see this happening, you don't jump in and try to save the day. Okay, just let it happen. Okay, there's 5 unique identifiers for you to validate this message for you. First is people with scarcity mindset. People carrying huge financial debt. With They also have stubborn limiting beliefs regarding abundance and prosperity, and very weird ass money scripts or narratives on who deserve money or not. You don't need this on, you do not need this in your energy at all. These fuckers can actually cock block your money, not because they have any power over you, but because the universe will not give you the blessings or the resources if they can access or benefit from them. You know, it's not for you to share with them or to allow them proximity or enjoyment of your blessings. Spirit don't want you buying coffee for these fuckers, right? Do you understand? It's kind of like the energy of protecting you from gold diggers. And a gold digger is not necessarily a literal people pulling out money out of your pockets. It's more subtle than that. Sometimes these individuals, they let you pay for everything. They're freeloaders. They trick you into exchanges of energy, right? Like, I'll do this for you if you let me do that, like that type of vibration. They show up at your house and they eat everything out of your fridge, and they're not even family, they're not your kids, right? um or for example, you guys are going to hang out, they have you do all the driving so they don't spend their gas. They tag along your trips because they could never afford it on their own. Do you understand? That's the type of energy this identifier keep an eye on, because it's part of the group that's being flushed out. right? Number two identifier is people who are experiencing an unfulfilled life. They're constantly stressed out. They don't know what they're doing with their lives. They don't know what they want from life. They're unhappy with their jobs. They're frustrated. They're miserable. And we already know the saying, right? Like misery wants company. And that kind of vibe will distract or delay or sabotage your progress. So, absolutely now they need to go, right? Number three identifier is usually people who are not even ashamed of being two-faced, right? These are um, people who talk about their family or their friends. Um, they're talking shit about people when they're with you, right? You know, and yet somehow you see them taking advantage of these friends' resources, right? So guess what? They're doing the same to you. They're mocking you behind your back. They're talking shit about you behind your back. And all these conversations are existing outside your awareness, but not outside spirit awareness. Spirit can see everything that's going on. Spirit knows what's being said about you in other rooms. Spirit knows their heart and their hidden agendas and how they're planning to use you. How they are planning on your money, how are they are planning to take advantage of your resources. Honey, your lifestyle was going to benefit them somehow, right? Like, oh, I wish a motherfucker would, like, seriously, you know and their behaviors is usually very ass kissing, love bombers, and just people that do too much too soon, because they're trying to get access to your life and those around you, your family, your friends, they want to get involved. They try to become important in your life or needed so they can manipulate you, so they can have some sort of advantage. Meanwhile, they have a plan all along, you were their ticket out of their miserable life. Okay, spirit is not having that. Number four identifier is people who are judging you or weaponizing your wounds against you so they can feel superior. They feel that they're better than you somehow. They want to hurt your feelings or minimize your worth or dismiss your life because you remind them of what a loser they are, how insignificant and unaccomplished they are. Okay. The last identifier is people who are going through unstable or destabilizing periods in their life, like relocating. They're either moving in or moving out, after a recent divorce or a breakup, or they're going through a loss of their jobs, or they are in the middle of complicated legal cases. And I am not talking about someone going through a rebirth or a crossroad or a threshold, like, I don't know, like recently retired or empty nesting or any kind of identity shift is due to a new phase in their life because they're doing shadow work. I'm not talking about that. I am talking about motherfuckers who are going through shit, both financially and emotionally, and situations that are very taxing. Not only that, but circumstances in which they could temporarily hide their true character behind. Circumstances that could hide their secret agenda, and as the spirit is not allowing that, because you're not a rebound, you're not a free ride to a new apartment, you're not a free therapist, and you're definitely not an ATM machine. Okay, now, on the way out, collective, these individuals are going to say or do the most ridiculous, annoying, or even hateful shit against you. I want you to let it happen. Spirit is asking that you let it be. Do not interrupt the process. Do not address them. And I'm not asking you to ignore it. That is not the assignment. You're going to pay attention to it. You're going to observe it. You're going to witness it. You're going to savor it and let it be. You know, process the feeling. Let it be shocking, let it be hurtful, let it piss you off, let it annoy you. Whatever the feeling, let it happen because you need this bookmark. Okay, you need to remember the stamp, right? You need to remember what they're doing and how they're doing it, how they're making you feel. Okay, you need to accept the heartbreak, the betrayal, the stab in the back, the insult, the criticism, everything they did. You need to process it, but you do not have to participate or engage in the fuckery. You don't have to clap back, you don't have to get even. There's no need for revenge. All you have to do is observe and make notes. One, because they're projecting, bro. Okay. Two, because maybe that projection, if it's bothering you, is something within yourself that needs integration. They're mirroring a wound back to you, right? And number three, their behavior is the receipt that you need to remember when they come back. Because, honey, some of these motherfuckers will regret messing with you and they will come back. They will want your attention again, they want your forgiveness, so go ahead, process it, listen, witness the fuckery, everything that they say that they're doing, because that's the closure that you need in order to let them go permanently. It might hurt now, but I promise you, when you think of them, either a few days, a few weeks, or a few months later, you will no longer have any residual energy, right? You will remember because you're not losing your memory, but you're no longer going to give a shit, right? And it's not going to take long for the energy to dissipate because spirit is already on it. All you have to do is do not engage, right? And approach this process with curiosity. You see how the king of swords is looking back at the fucker? He's just looking back. He's like, wow, bitch. Right? You know, also, of course, witness how your energy co-creates their exit and how your energy is co-creating your next chapter. Have accountability, right? We're not just gonna sit and watch and be like, oh, you did that shit. No, you're also part of it. So be compassionate, don't judge yourself, and do not judge them either. This is it's all a divine plan. Let it happen. I need you to see the connection or connections that you're disengaging with during this exodus as your last misalignment. Okay. You're shedding people who are actively disliking you, criticizing you, judging you. And that, honey, that is a confirmation on who you are becoming. This is shadow work aftermath, right? You're no longer allowing or entertaining things or energies or people that are no longer in alignment in your life. And you're doing this either consciously or subconsciously. And in this particular case, it's energetically. That true version of yourself has no time for clowns. Even if you like them, eventually they will not like you because your energy is going to show up in a way that bothers them, right? These folks walking away, they want a fake version of you. They want a version of you that conveniences them. They want a version of you that they can manipulate and use. Of course, they prefer someone who serves their agenda. And since you're not tagging along with their bullshit and unrealistic expectations, they're moving on to the next host, like the true parasite that they are. And if this is happening to you right now, this is your last misalignment. Anyone showing up in your life after this exodus is connecting to your king of swords energy, which is your most authentic version, the one that is not tolerating inconsistent or fake people. So congratulations, collective. Your boundaries are working. um, if they can see you, if they can't tolerate you, if they're triggered by you, oh my God, please, yes, let it be. You know, they can connect with you because they're not supposed to. They're not capable of. They don't have the capacity to see you for who you truly are because they're not part of your tribe. And what better filter than that, right? Now, energetically, this in these 3 months, along with this situation going on, right? With this exodus and this purge, whatever. Um, you know, there are other energies going on, right? When they remove themselves, so to speak, the universe will replace them immediately by either one, someone else who is worthy of you, who can handle your light, your money game, your power. And honey, when I say immediately, the universe is not fucking playing, okay? Or you will experience a level up, like a glow up or a timeline shift. You're gonna feel it. You'll be like, whoa. Or you will be manifesting a sudden windfall, money that came out of nowhere, right? So, or maybe a combination of this based on what you have already on your vortex. If you're doing manifestation work, what's on your vortex that's kind of in alignment with these three energies, that's going to drop out of nowhere, right? It's going to manifest quickly. Meanwhile, you know, this purge is happening, these manifestations are landing. There are unique signature energies unfolding here for our collective, okay? Um, so let's dive in a little further. Okay, actually, let's grab. Oh, okay, okay. What is this? Three jumpers. Okay, let's take it. My goodness, girl. All right. Okay, this makes sense. Let's see. Okay. Survival, teamwork, and risk. Okay. Hmm. There's an energy of doing new things, right? There's an energy of okay, let's move this a little bit here. This is here and this is happening right here. Okay, right here. So there's also, of course, there's always travel and adventure. But in this particular energy, it's about doing new things. Uh, even if you, let's say, schedule a trip to visit families and friends because it's summer break, whatever, make sure that you add something new or something that you never done before. And I see a lot of festivities, but it could be a party, it could be festivals, concerts, community experiences, right? Like I see crowds, there's movement, right? Also, there's a movement, not only physical movement, but like relocation movement, right? Because you have outgrown your place, right? You outgrown your space, your city, your immediate surroundings, So there is an urgency for personal upgrades and reinventions, whether it's switching styles, um, hair look, or outfits, your car, your accessories, something. There's a change that involves moving, relocation, switching, right? And there's also reinvention that has to do with your career. It's not just personal reinvention, but also career change. And, a group in our collective is getting ready to land a job where nature plays a key role on the background. Right, there's a lot of nature here. I selected the this deck and the oracle because like it's summer, but I'm ready for I'm waiting for Halloween. I'm ready for Halloween. So maybe you have plans. Maybe you're organizing Halloween situations, like you have fall season travel planned. Yeah, nature is a big, it's a big number here because there's a lot of big windows and art and fresh air, and all of that is fueling your creativity. Art, writing, painting, passion projects, all sacred, right? And around mid August, of course, along with the back to school seasonal shed, some of us will experience the activation or recalibration of our internal compass, which is going to lead us to reorganizing our priorities. And part of the priorities is, having the right people around, right? You cannot do everything yourself. It's time to hire, delegate, outsource, right? And I know that some of these signatures may feel like normal summer things, but there is a deeper vibration going on here regarding expansion, exploration, and new experiences that will enhance your joy, your freedom, and your visibility. And I want to circle back to why you're still attracting low vibrational people after their work is done. A lot of people think that healing means that you never encounter toxic, draining, or misaligned people again. And you might have this narrative about like, once I raise my vibration, only good things and good people should come toward me. But I want you to think of you as a lighthouse, right? I want you to imagine, your core, your chakra system, your energy, your aura, your vibration as this bright lighthouse that does not stop shining because darkness exists. In fact, the whole purpose of your light is to shine because darkness exists. Or also think about how a light bulb attracts bugs. It doesn't attract bugs because it's broken. The light is attracting the bugs because it's visible, it's warm, it's inviting. So, of course, your energy, your growth, your confidence, your authenticity, all of it is noticeable, right? It's making you visible, right? And just because someone is drawn to your light, that does not mean that they are aligned with your purpose. There's a difference, right? And that's where discernment comes in. That's where your conviction of your growth and your path comes in, right? You will always encounter different kinds of people. Some will come to celebrate you, some will come to learn from you, some will come because they are attracted to what you carry, and some will come because they want access to what you have. Um, you know, and maybe you have not learned yet to protect yourself, right? And that's the lesson that you have to learn. And it's not a punishment. The difference now between, the an old version of yourself and this healed, evolved version of yourself is that you're different, that you have discernment, that you have conviction, right? Before healing, you may have ignored the red flags, or you may have over explained yourself, or overgiven, or overextended, or negotiated, or tried to prove your worth to people who were committed to misunderstanding you. But now, bitch, please, right? Your discernment is sharper. You recognize the energy mismatch sooner. You notice patterns faster, and you stop negotiating with what drains you, right? You stop trying to convince the people to see your value, because your evolution does not mean that someone, enters your space is evolve. You're the one that's evolving. Your evolution means that you no longer abandon yourself trying to make someone else fit, right? This time around, you do not have to fight every battle, right? You don't have to fight the battle. You don't have to expose everyone. You don't have to force the endings. This time is easy, right? You only have to focus on standing in your truth, and anything that cannot exist in alignment with your truth, with your vibration, will naturally reveal itself and remove yourself. The universe is not asking you to chase or to fix or to remove. The universe is asking you to trust, And a message from your shadow self is, what inspired actions can I take to rebuild my life with unwavering determination and steadfast commitment, right? The universe is already taking all the distractions away. So, what are you going to do to stay focused and committed and devoted to your path, to your purpose, right? Um, Allow the lessons to reveal themselves, allow the masks to fall, allow the energy that does not belong to you to return where it came from. That's important. Um, because sometimes the greatest protection is not you removing the trash. The universe is asking that you let the trash take themselves out. Okay. So if you're wondering who or what is the trash in your particular circumstances and how this message applies to you this month, Tarot Gazette will answer what the trash represents for your specific zodiac sign. You know, how this clearing is showing up in that area of your life and the opportunity created by allowing them to leave, right? Also, of course, you featuring in every gazette is an introspection question for shadow work and an inspire action guidance. So go ahead, grab it. It's free. You know, it's our monthly drop in our self love circle journal. Um, Thank you so much for watching. King Gaia out.